Next tonight, the government is being urged to think again about whether fracking is right for the country. It comes amidst reports that the Scottish government is poised to introduce a ban on the controversial technique.
But you know, those in favour say it's a massive opportunity and the government shouldn't give in to the protesters. Our business correspondent Danny Houston is outside the well site in Kirby Misperton, where fracking could start within weeks. So tell us, Danny, what's the latest there?
Well, Harry, news that Scotland may follow countries like France and Germany to announce a total ban on fracking have unsurprisingly been discussed at length here today. And it has been another day of tension. There have been 3 more arrests. One person has been charged with assaulting a police officer. That police officer is understood to have sustained minor injuries to his foot. The protesters today have called for calm, and they are saying that they will continue peaceful protest.
Today's protest began before dawn. A police officer was injured trying to prevent this latest barricade. The 2 men arrested before specialist teams could begin the now familiar extraction. This is the 3rd week of protest outside the KM8 well site, the place where fracking is expected to get underway before the end of the year. But with Scotland reportedly on the cusp of banning the technique, there are calls for the government to think again about whether it's right for England.
Lib Dems, they're opposed to fracking. Labour are very opposed to fracking. SNP are due to, we believe, announce the ban in Scotland to join Ireland. Well, most of the countries in northwest Europe now are opposed to fracking in some sort of way, isolating England completely. England's being surrounded by countries that don't want the industry, and the Tories really need to change track.
One company convinced it is right is INEOS, one of the world's biggest chemical companies. They want to be a major player in any shale gas industry and have come to the Conservative Party conference to lobby MPs. But far from thinking the Conservatives are out of touch, they believe any government would be wrong to dismiss it.
Our business will exist regardless of who is in power, and so for any government they'll have to wrestle with the issues of energy provision, whether we bring that in from abroad or whether we source it from beneath our feet. The issue of energy provision within industry like ours doesn't go away.
Back across the Pennines, on what many believe is the front line, they see protest as the best way of bringing about change. But the local MP says tactics like lock-ons serve no purpose.
Well, I don't believe mob rule should really influence a process. I think peaceful protest, certainly. I think we should look at the signs. It makes much more sense to produce gas than it does to import it. I think most people would agree with that. I think the conditions surrounding that, we've got to make sure she's done safely, in a way that doesn't damage the environment and that protects the landscape.
A stalemate certain to continue.
So we are now entering the 3rd week of protests, and I can tell you that in September there were a total of 26 arrests. 22 of those will face charges to appear in court at a later date. This, of course, is an operation which is expected to go on for many weeks and months, so expect a lot more disruption on these country lanes.